Mic check 1 2 1 2.
My sweet waifu.
Is that you?
One way or another.
Mic check. Mic check, waifu. Tell, is that you?
What's up, Mr. Polo Born Fly himself? How you doing, bro?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. Welcome to episode 28 of Mic Check Wait, is that correct? I think that's correct.
Yeah, that's right. Episode 28.
Welcome to episode 28 of Mic Check Waifu. I'm Polo, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, my brother, Tell. What a great show we have for you today. I can't wait to get started. But first, as always, let's thank our sponsor, Lube Complex. Let's go to lubecomplex.com. Use the offer code waifu and you'll be able to save on your entire cart. He just restocked some of the hardest shirts that he got in the store, so check that out ASAP. It's also brought to you by our Patreon producers, Chris Goodywin, Monique Williams, and Connor. We appreciate you, brother, for being a part of our Let's Plays and stuff. And also a huge shout out to all of our Patreons. Hey, go to patreon.com/miccheckwaifu. When you get there, you should see a free open to everyone episode of Mic Check Encore. What Mic Check Encore is, it's a bonus podcast with me and Tell and sometimes Legal. Just kind of sit and talk and literally just talk about whatever, life, music, movies, video games, whatever it is. It's a chill podcast. It's not necessarily for people looking for something specifically, but it's just something to get a little bit of insight into us as regular people outside of anime. So go ahead and go to patreon.com/miccheckwaifu. It's a free episode for everybody. Episode 13 is free for everybody right now. So go check that out. Your support is greatly appreciated. And check out the merch store, teespring.com/stores/miccheckwaifu. All the links to this will be in the show notes in the description. So thank you all so much for the support. Now, last week, we had a kind of a brief discussion about a topic that we were going to have for this week. Last week was our Dr. Stone review episode. And when we were going through that episode, I kind of mentioned to myself, there's so much I look for in anime in order for me to consider it good. I'm such a huge critic, such a huge, maybe even hard critic of anime, that if it doesn't meet a certain criteria for me personally, I can't give it the hype that everybody else can give it. Like, for instance, Dr. Stone is one of the shows that got some of the most hype on our Twitter. Can you agree with that?
I agree with that. It got some of the most hype on our Facebook, too.
Yeah, it's true. People calling it 9s, people calling it 10s.
People calling it Anime of the Year.
Anime of the Year, yeah. And I don't see it. It's not in me to say that. And it's because of my critiques of it. And my critiques come down to essentially what our review scale is. If it don't hit those marks for me, then I can't rate it as high. Now, don't take that as me saying Dr. Stone is bad, because we still rated it a good rating. 7.8 is a good rating, but it's just not what I feel. It's just exactly what I feel it should be rated, to be honest.
I personally feel that if some of the other shows this year didn't come out, I actually would have given Dr. Stone a higher rating.
You think so?
It has some steep competition this year.
You're absolutely right about that.
It honestly, like I said, Astro Lost in Space, I did not plan on that being good. And I did not plan on, I had no idea Fire Force was coming out until a month before we watched it.
Exactly.
You know? So there's a lot of stuff that I didn't know was coming, and then it hit the radar. And Dr. Stone was good, but it had some competition that was just better.
Yo, straight up. That's a good point, because when you think about it, we hadn't even, for those of you who has been listening to Mic Check Waifu from the beginning, you know that when we saw Astro Lost in Space, we looked at it and kind of laughed at it in our, I believe it was our, fall review? Fall, list? Anticipation list, yeah. We kind of looked at it something probably ain't something we ain't going to be watching. We ended up watching it, and it ended up being our number one anime of the year so far. Or I won't go say that. Highest rated anime.
Yeah, highest rated so far.
Yeah, highest rated so far. So that's interesting. But that conversation last week sparked a topic idea that we had. And the topic goes like this. The topic is, what do you want in your anime? How critical are you? What do you look for? Are you into like big fights, story, like animations, dope power systems, the world? What do you consider good character development? And then I asked the people in our Facebook group to give us examples of this. Now, we're going to start off with ours. I don't know if you want to start or if you want me to start. Tell how you want to do this.
I mean, I can start with mine because I have a pretty decent idea, right?
Okay.
Because I have one of my favorite anime I can kind of base it off of, right? Sure. And I say it a lot, Chivalry of a Felt Knight.
He's
one of my all-time... Yeah, one of my... Well, he's not even... It's not even a Fate series, but Chivalry of a Felt Knight, you know, one of my all-time favorite anime. But...
You're welcome.
It has some... Thank you. Yeah. It has some of my favorite moments in general. And then the entire series, even though it's just 12 episodes, it has some of my favorite just overall like points that I hit, right? Mm-hmm. So I know this is a very shallow point for my number one point. Not the most important point on my list, but I like an underdog protagonist. Mm-hmm. Like a protagonist who seemingly at the beginning, yeah, he's a cool guy, but has everything against him. Mm-hmm. And I like to say that because Ikki, he had no power in this world of like full of power.
Right.
And he literally had to sacrifice his own vision, blood, and everything to actually be good at anything. And then you compare it to like even Ash Lost in Space. Our main character there, yeah, everyone seemed to be good, but he, even in the beginning, no one really wanted him to be the captain. Right. And everyone's the main character, but no one wanted him to be the captain, right? Mm-hmm. And he kind of earned that trust from everyone and kind of, you know, no longer was the underdog, but was the one like the glue who held everyone together. Mm-hmm. So I love that idea of a underdog protagonist. And I mean, I don't know. I feel like I always feel stronger when someone tells me I can't do something.
Right.
So that might be why I love the underdog protagonist. For the longest time, Teen Gohan was my favorite anime character, you know, like just because he did everything in the Cell Saga. He was the underdog. We didn't think
biggest underdog.
Yeah, we didn't think Teen Gohan was going to come through and wreck Cells like that.
Right.
We didn't think he was going to come through and wreck everybody like that, but he did. And I still hold true to that. That's one of my favorite things in general when it comes to like a good anime or a good manga. Mm-hmm. Now, not my main thing though. One of my second topic or my second thing would be consistency. And that consistency has to kind of range from everything, you know? Right. Like it can't just be, okay, they're consistently overpowered or anything like that. If you show me that, okay, there's a power scaling and okay, this is what the upper ceiling of this power scaling looks like, and this is how you break through that. I don't want you to just show me random breakthroughs on that. I want that breakthrough to make sense.
Right.
I'm not throwing any shade, Paula. I'm not throwing any shade to Black Clover.
Not at all.
But it also has to do with like storyline consistency, right?
Right. So
I want the storyline to be consistent. Mm-hmm. If you got a brother who is trying to, I don't know, something stupid like find his sister that he lost all these years ago, mm-hmm. and you want him to come across, like go and find his sister, and he finally gets to meet his sister after all these years, right? I want that to be the goal, but I want that to be like everything has to be consistent with that. Him training to get to that point where he can find his sister, that has to somehow coincide with the consistency of him wanting to find his sister. Right. It can't be, I'm training to find my sister, and then, okay, I'm going to go find my sister, and he's still no longer, he's like fighting. He's just, this is like a slice of life now or something like that. I don't know. Right. That would like, don't mix it up on me like that.
Right.
So I do like consistency. And then I need at least a halfway decent story. Oh, also I meant consistency also counts for animation too. You can't be not consistent with your animation.
Straight up.
Black Clover. But just a halfway decent story as well, Like there is so much out there. Like you think about all the stories out there in the world and everything seems to repeat somehow.
Right.
But you can still take that repeated idea and create something new.
Right.
Like I look at, I'm going to talk about this later, Vinland Saga right now. as Polo may know, or as you guys will know now, I basically started Vinland Saga like 6 hours ago, and I'm 12 episodes deep. And to me, it has a very Game of Thrones-esque beginning, but this was way easier to get into than Game of Thrones. Like, it took me forever to even enjoy Game of Thrones, but it's just so good. Everything feels consistent. Like, they not lacking anywhere. This is greatness. So yes, I do like a decent story, and it's so easy to carry a decent story. Like, it doesn't have to be the same story every episode.
Right.
Like, even shows like I said, Shin-Chan, or like Rick and Morty or something like that. I just started watching Rick and Morty again because we got crap about that from our
shout out to you, Leak.
yeah, right. But it doesn't have to be the same storyline every episode. But as things progress, I would like to see some kind of like progression towards that story. You know, like if it's growing your family, or even if it's just like you're a goofball and you have an ultimate goal as a goofball as being like the goofiest person in town or something like that. You know, the story, I want to see some progression in that story, and it has to be at least decent. You won't make my top 5 being decent, but I mean, I'll watch you for more than 2 episodes.
Right. Oh, that's it? You're done?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure I have more, but those are like some of my biggest things.
Okay. So I guess I should start then, huh? So for me, I'm going to start off with a little story, okay? My anime career started with me watching, we talked about this in episode 1 of My Check Waifu, but I'm gonna rehash it here 28 weeks later. My anime watching career started way back when I was in the 4th grade. I was in the 4th grade, and I came home from school one day and was on the TV was on Cartoon Network, and I saw Dragon Ball Z. Now, the moment I saw Dragon Ball Z, I'm like, what the hell is this? This is a weird looking cartoon. I started watching it, and I instantly was captivated because this was right when our Z heroes were getting to Namek, and like shit was just starting to pop off. Kept watching it every day after that, coming home from school, sorry. And I just saw the fights and was listening to the inner dialogue and the inner monologues that they were doing. And I'm like, this is way different than any cartoon I ever watched. And I was hooked ever since. Fast forward till about, I don't know, maybe 2011. No, when did, I don't know. The year that Clannad came out. Fast forward to then, I'm bored. There's nothing for me to do. I'm caught up on Dragon Ball Z, and obviously at this time there was no Dragon Ball Super or whatever. I start scrolling through the website that we shall never name. I saw something on there called Clannad, and it said it was romance slice of life. I'm like, romance? What kind of show don't have fighting? Why would I even enjoy this? Oh, well, let me just check it out. I'm bored anyway. I watched it, and it was a whole nother form of storytelling that I never even knew existed in the world of anime. Hell, even in TV in general, because again, I didn't watch the stuff that my parents watched, or I didn't watch the stuff that my brother watched. I just watched literally fighting anime, any anime with fighting. So Yu-Gi-Oh!, Dragon Ball Z, Yu Yu Hakusho, Inuyasha, those type of anime was the only anime I even knew of. When I saw Clannad and I watched it literally all the way through, I binge watched it because it was when Clannad was finished. I binge watched the entire thing and I cried like actual tears. From that moment, I'm like, whoa, this shit just completely changed my life. I need more out of this. And I just started going down this rabbit hole of just different anime with different types of stories and different, gravities of ways of storytelling. So for me, I became extremely critical of my anime after that, because now I know what anime can be. Now I know the upper echelon of where it's at. So for me, what's most important is always story. Story is always most important for me. And the reason for that is because, what captivates me, what keeps my attention span. Now, I pride myself on not having the attention span of a fucking gerbil like the most of society nowadays. With that being said, I can take a slow pacing story, because something like Clannad literally took about 9-10 episodes to even start to make sense because of the way they tell their story. And that was okay with me because of the end result. But what I'm getting at is that literally story is the most important. Then follow that. Right after that, at a very close number 2 is character development. This goes to, sorry for this, another week of Black Clover hate, but I have to mention Black Clover. Character development in Black Clover is non-existent. It actually sucks balls. And the reason for that is because you have maybe 1 or 2 characters that even had any training sessions, period, like any actual training sessions, and that being Asta and Noelle. The way Noelle trained, she only trained one time to control her powers. That was it. That was the only time she actually trained, was to control her powers. Then she succeeded in that. Washed our hands with that. That's awesome. She now knows how to control her powers. Fast forward to episode 114 or 112 and then 114. She gets this new power and she's a beast, a monster. She's unbeatable, essentially, when she's fighting Fiona. And it's the most disgusting character development I ever seen because Noelle is such a good character outside of this bullshit that they give her. She learns the spell, and the moment she learns the spell, she's an instant master at it. That I don't appreciate. What I do appreciate, for another example, is Vinland Saga. Thorfinn was a child who obviously, spoiler alert for Vinland Saga. If you haven't watched Vinland Saga, literally fast forward just 45 seconds. Thorfinn was literally a child that got his father killed. Like, it was his fault that his father died. He shouldn't have yelled. He shouldn't have screamed. He shouldn't try to say, no, my father can kill you all because of his pride. He shouldn't have did that. His father was trying to teach him otherwise. He failed miserably at that. But from there, he literally worked his ass off to become even halfway a decent fighter. And when you get further in the Vinland Saga, you understand, he gets better, but he's still not where he should be, essentially. That, to me, is amazing character development because the storytelling is revolving around that particular incident. I need that storytelling to be on par with the character development. That's why it's such a close second for me. Then there's animation. I cannot stand anything that's poorly animated. I cannot stand disgusting art. Like, not disgusting art, because art is art. I'm not going to, let me retract that last statement. Not disgusting art. It's subjective. So for me personally, I cannot stand those harsh character
harsh lines.
Yeah, harsh
scratchy
lines, scratchy, harsh character like expressions. Like when Dr. Stone would do like these silly faces, like that shit would literally take me out the entire show because that show is so based on reality that it completely fucks with my whole perspective of the show. So when they do stuff like that, it throws it off. And that goes to what you said with the consistency. Like the art has to be consistent. And the one thing that Vinland Saga is, the art is so consistent. It's not the prettiest, but it's very, 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 very consistent. Yeah, because Vinland Saga has we'll talk about it later when we talk about Vinland Saga. It's great though. And that's really it for me. The reason why I'm so critical is a lot of shows have trouble with that consistency, like you said. They have trouble with the story, and they also have trouble with character development. I think character development is such a hard thing in anime to get right, and not a lot of them do it. Like, for instance, a lot of people don't like Tanjiro's character development, but I feel like that's some of the best character development we see in the show because we span years of his life when he's training. Yes, it's a little kind of fast forwarded, but we kind of see his journey to get to where he ended up being at the end of the first season of Demon Slayer, which was awesome to me. He's the only really likable character because of that to me, other than, some support characters. But that's why I'm extremely harsh. Like, I look for, like, the story has to be on par, has to be high, animation has to be dope.
Character
development has to be there, period. Like, I'm trying to understand Black Clover and the way that character development is, and it just doesn't make any fucking sense, man. It's stressful. It's annoying. But that's just me. And with that, we asked that to the Facebook group, and we got a bunch of different responses. So I didn't want to make mine too long because we have a lot of responses to get through, 12 of them to be exact. And a lot of them harkens back on what we say, and I'm gonna speak around some of the points they use in theirs. So I'm gonna start off with Gabriel. Shout out to you, Gabriel. Thanks for commenting. He was the first comment. So for me, he says, for me, my checkbox is like this. The first episode is the most important thing in the anime. If I watch episode 1 and I'm not feeling it, I probably won't go back unless people start to rave about it. For my episode 1 critique, I'm looking for interesting characters, some hint of action, or an intriguing mystery. If it has one of these three, then I might be able to get to episode 2. I need the animation to stay consistent throughout the show. Black Clover got lucky because my fiance was into it, but the inconsistency kills me, especially if it's a 24 season show. So if I make it to episode 2, it has to be consistent, and then I probably will watch the entire anime. But what matters to me in the anime is if it has action rather than mental battles and hand-to-hand / power fights or sports competition. I need this to watch it. Next, it needs to be story with a purpose. He says Gintama is an example of an anime I hated, as I never could. Yeah, I never could grasp the story of it, which I heard a lot about. I heard a lot about this story not being very consistent in that one.
Yeah. Some people love it, some people don't.
Which stopped me from watching it because it's overwhelming. You want to read the next one?
Yeah. So I'm gonna read Drew Seeley.
Okay.
And he says it depends on the genre, right? But like always, I refer to Full Metal Alchemist. Biggest thing is emotional connection to characters and situations they go through. I love that, right? We all love a little bit of emotional connection. He says, if I can feel the emotions the character is supposed to feel, I'm in. Second biggest thing is mixture of serious and humorous atmosphere. So some intense moments and some laughter, right? Mm-hmm. More important to that note, more than just one character being able to be serious and funny relief. Last big thing to list, fluidity of the anime. Everything needs to flow from the plot to the character design and development, the environments, the music, etc.
Real spit. I already read Grapers, so yeah, go ahead. I like this one a lot if you go into this next one.
Well, I'm gonna go to Jolie. I don't know if that's the one you wanted to, but you can read the one you like a lot.
Okay.
I thought Jolie's is actually pretty comparable to yours. I felt like y'all are both basically on the same boat here. But he says, I consider an anime to be good when you can relate to a character. Development isn't as important to me as creating a stable character, right? So, and what I think about that is obviously like a stable character is someone who is either already well developed, mm-hmm. like who do we know is well developed before we even see him? Thor's, for instance, in Vinland Saga. I'm sorry, I'm all on Vinland Saga right now. Yeah. Thor's is well developed, and we don't see him for long, but even though he's gone, we want to know more about him. We know his background, and the characters around him kind of build his development, you know?
Right.
For realism, a character should grow or develop, but sometimes they don't grow in terms of what people would perceive them to grow. Most people expect growth to be this character was this, now they're this. But growth can be how the writer keeps characters core, but shows how their thought process has changed. Vegeta is a prime example of this. I like my anime to be about what they're about. And if it's shonen arc fighting, I want shonen arc fighting and no crying. If it's drama, let me get that juice. If it's sports, I want great moments and introspectives from players. Haikyuu is a perfect example of character development for me. I want my anime to be good, not driven by cash grabs. And come on, let's talk about that too.
So, I mean,
One Piece just had a huge cash grab.
Oof, did they really?
Yeah, bro, I was sorry as fuck.
What is that?
So they in the manga, our boy Kaido, spoiler if you're not this far in One Piece, Kaido is one of the biggest bad dudes in all of One Piece.
Right, I remember you telling me about that.
Luffy pops up because he thinks his whole crew just got murked, right? Mm-hmm. And his whole crew in his mind is murdered, killed, gone, and he thinks it's Kaido's fault. He runs up on Kaido and throws a punch at Kaido. Kaido's unfazed. Kaido throws a punch at Luffy. Luffy blacks out and it's done. One punch, that's it. This latest 2 episodes of One Piece, Luffy fades Kaido, fighting Kaido for a solid 20 minutes. Like, you mean no dude who in the manga one punched you, you couldn't even hold a candle to. You faded for a whole 18, 20 minutes in an anime. I'm like, that's a cash grab. People wanted to see Luffy fight. They wanted to see Luffy fight Kaido, and they tried to give him that. But that's not what happened. They should have gave us the real and said, look, Luffy wasn't strong enough to fight Kaido. Just give us more story development like they did in the manga. Yeah. They gave us story around that in the manga versus like in the anime. They was like, here, this is what you wanted. I was salty.
Sounds real
disappointment.
Familiar. So one thing about his point is that he wants fighting, no crying. Like he's obviously referenced My Hero because he hates My Hero because Deku cries. And that's something I can't rock with because it's like, for me, Deku as a character is what makes the show great. It's a shonen with fighting, but it's a character that actually develops. He wants already established characters that kind of goes through the ringer. And I say he put it well. It's better. I understand him better, but I can't rock with that because it's so simple. That's simple to me. And I'm not that simple.
And I agree with you on the aspect of like Deku, in my opinion, is a pretty actually good shonen character out of all the 100%. Shonen characters. He has some of the best development. Sure. He does start off as a crybaby, and he might still cry every once in a while, but he's not crying for the same reasons anymore. You know, right. Like at first he was crying because he didn't have a quirk. Then he was crying because he finally got a quirk and didn't know what to do. Then he was crying because he was blowing his body parts up. Right. Then he was crying because he wasn't strong enough to help All Might. Then he was crying because he wasn't strong. Like he wasn't crying for reasons of like his tears went from less about himself to evolving to about others. You know. Right. Yeah, so it was all character development, and I liked that he developed so much. Right.
I don't know. It's so many people out there like that that's simple in what they want and what they look for in their anime. And that I can't rock with. I need more. And now that I know that anime can do more, I used to be just like that, literally just like that when I was watching Dragon Ball Z as a kid. But no, not anymore. I'm going to Carrie's.
Okay. This is the one you liked?
Yeah, it's the one I liked. He said, all I need is good story, comedy, great characters, a hyping opening to give me hype, and a little bit of fan service. That last part isn't always needed. But I commented and said, I fucks with you for that last part. I like fan service, man. I don't care.
So, hey, we all like a little bit of fan service, bro. You know that. I think I even said that.
Yeah, you did. He has got the most interaction, by the way.
Yeah. Dion Brown said something very similar. Good fight scenes or battles, characters, as long as they are entertaining and have supporting casts who each get time to shine. That's important. Supporting cast gets time to shine. That is sometimes so game changing. True. Comedy is a must and romance not a lot, just like every 10 episodes. EX. Example, Demon Slayer, Ippo, JoJo, Inuyasha, Air Gear, Food Wars, Kenichi. I wanted to mention he put Ippo in there because Hajime no Ippo is a great anime.
And he put Air Gear, which is a fucking classic in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I love Air Gear a lot. Let's see. Okay. Good old Ty Jones. What up, Ty Jones? Thanks for writing in.
Hey.
He says, for my anime, an honest reason to care about the characters, be it because they're relatable or because they're genuinely a badass and lovable in some form. I want my characters to represent people in the real world with their problems and such. Family. I have a huge love and lock for family, connectivity, and motive, especially direct family like mother, father, siblings, which is dope. He says, he also says, I want fight scenes to be fluid and non-repetitive. Be it up. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Be made up fighting or genuine real life technique and form. I want animations to not be afraid to distort characters in order to sell the total movement and emotion of the attack or movement. Some anime do this and I love it. So I'm going to tell you what doesn't do it well. Black Clover. What does do it well Fire Force. Fate Grand. Yeah.
Oh my God.
The most recent episode of Fire Force, the way they kind of show the phase fighting and it's crazy. I love it. Sorry, he continues. While I want all the characters to adhere to their individual personalities, I want them to be malleable. I can't say that word. Malleable too. To feel like real people. Even some of the most stiffiest of necks can be broken. Laughter or tears.
Right.
And the softest of people can stand up for what they believe in despite being scared shitless. Dude, I love this one. This is probably my favorite comment. I want the antagonist to be believable and have a reason to be a bad guy. I'm fine with someone being genuinely evil just because, but it needs to be done right. I don't want a villain to be all, wouldn't you want to know why I'm this way?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. That's Bleach all the way. Just for him to go, oh, it's because I want to, and then explains what he wants. If the villain is going to be bad by choice, then let it be due to them cutting loose or being tired of being a boy or girl scout and just be upfront. That's a good point. I also want the situations to have impact. If someone dies or comes back from allegedly being dead, I want it to be written right. I want it to be written right or well. Build it up. Have it serve the next move. Have it serve to move the plot, motivations, and such into the next plane / stage of being. And yeah, this is
so.
great.
I just want to say a couple of things. All right. So, basically, in Black Clover, a lot of the things he's talking about happen and don't happen, right? Like, I think Asta is genuinely badass. I think Yuno is genuinely badass. Those two characters are who they are for like story purposes, and that's just how they grew up. They grew up on two different spectrums of life, right? Mm-hmm. But then you have everything around them that stays inconsistent, and that's kind of like what he's kind of getting at with some of these points. Even when you talk about like characters dying and whatnot, like Jiraiya died in Naruto and had the hugest impact.
100%.
Almost. It feels like the hugest impact on the anime for such a long time in comparison. Like when Neji died, we were salty, but not like when Jiraiya died.
Well, I was a little bit more salty because he was one of my favorite characters. But
Neji was one of my favorite too, but we were salty because of how Jiraiya died, you know? Like they had to jump him for real.
Just straight up.
But he kind of has some really good points there, and I actually agree with all of that. Like genuine characters feel much more lovable.
Exactly. That's why I like Deku. That's why I like, I even like the anime, the isekai, the anime that where the characters are extremely overpowered as long as they're explained well. Like, for instance, while Wise Man's grandchild compared to a Demon Lord retry. Demon Lord retry is absolutely garbo at building the world and building that character up. But a Wise Man's grandchild does an excellent job of showing, hey, this kid, he worked as a former scientist before dying and being reincarnated. And then his knowledge from being a scientist carried over into the new world. And he uses that knowledge to make him overpowered. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like that's because of that story beat. That's what makes it so great.
Yeah. Or even Parasite the Maxim.
Same, yeah.
How when our main character has to basically kill his mom, even though that's not really his mom anymore. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's an alien parasite, and it's not his mom, but that it played to the tropes of I'm your mom and you shouldn't kill me, and it almost took his life.
Yep.
And that moment, even though like there's so many other intense moments in the show, that was one of the more intense moments, and it wasn't even like the best fight in the show.
Right. I was connected.
Right. The next one is gonna be let's do Christian Nichols.
Yeah.
He says, when I think of what I like in an anime, I usually think of Yu Yu Hakusho. Yusuke is still my favorite main character because he is layered.
Very much
which
so.
is very important, yeah. Mm. It's the characters around him and their interactions that peel these layers throughout the series. And even if we could already tell it was there, you can tell that he had other main characters like Deku learn from their peers And you can tell he and other main characters like Deku learn from their peers and find inventive ways to overcome conflict. It doesn't need to be explosive at first. They'll come with time. That'll come with time. We just need progress.
Yes,
and,
dude.
Yeah.
That's
like character progression is like it's a big thing there. Like in MMOs, even with Polo.
Yeah.
If your character progression, if your class progression is trash, why am I playing this class?
Exactly. Well, unless you're like me and play Black Desert and you level up almost every class to 60 because you're a fucking psychopath. Anyway, moving on. Go to my boy Nero Thornberry. He says, I love an anime that's psychological, a lot of critical thinking, very cerebral, also gets me emotionally invested into the characters' actions and always welcome. And gets me invested into the characters. Action is always welcome, but it's not needed. For example, Death Note, Death Parade, Code Geass, and No Game No Life. I think The Promised Neverland also qualifies as for this as well. I feel fan service should always be some part of an anime. I like problem solving, racking my brain, learning something with twists. I love Dr. Stone for this reason. But I don't think it qualifies for the picture I'm trying to paint. Which, it doesn't really qualify, but it has it. But the psychological aspect, the fact that he mentioned Death Note, Death Parade, Code Geass, and some No Game No Life. No Game No Life kind of is more similar to Dr. Stone, in my opinion, but
better. It's like a way better isekai Dr. Stone.
It kind of is, though. When you well, good point. But like he would love Steins Gate for that particular reason. He would love. I even recommended it to him already. What else? Somebody also mentioned Psychopaths. He would love that. Man, but I like his taste. His taste is real good.
Definitely. So our boy Brandon Gray, he says plot, good story pace, a good ending, not some BS. I'm not going to write an ending like, for example, a guy has to pick between two women and he just doesn't pick at all. Yeah, get all that. That's how I kind of feel about what is that called? Juni Taisen, and how the rat dude won in the end.
God, that anime was so good until it wasn't.
It blew me. And it was really just that to me, like everything else was good. Like I've never felt so hurt when a character died in anime. I was so hurt when Monkey died, but it was just so like, why you end it like that of all ways, bro?
That's another show that was, again, so good until it wasn't. Juni Taisen just ruined itself. Look at me. I'm lucky enough to get my boy, Philip J. What's up, Philip J. Woodward? We appreciate you, especially for that meme. That Black Clover meme he did was God tier. He says, anime is a way of life. It can change with your mood or what you're looking for. What's great is anime that adapts to that because of all the content that's available. Generally, I look for a good story and characters. When I was younger, I loved action-packed anime like Rurouni Kenshin, Evangelion, Yu Yu Hakusho, wow, this guy is me. Yu Yu Hakusho, Ghost in the Shell, or DBZ, but also find a place for other things like Boogie Pop, Phantom, Perfect Blue, Mobile Suit Gundam, well, you lost me there, or Serial Experiment Salon. Then there's my love for anime. There's my love for anime that anime grew through the 90s. Oh, then there's my love for the anime that grew through the 90s. I'm assuming he means. That's into the 2000s. I started to look backwards and finding the beautiful works of Mrs. Miyazaki, like oh my God, Castle in the Sky was wonderful, dude. My Neighbor Totoro and Kiki's Delivery Service. And others like OG Dragon Ball. Yes, real good. Speed Racer, not a fan of that one. Saint Seiya and Ranma. Saint Seiya was fantastic too. Anything can grab me at this point. Cool characters design, an interesting premise, even something simple as long as it's enjoyable with a good story and has decent animation. Right now I'm digging slow burns with good character arcs. We need more anime that takes place outside of high school though. Stuff like Beautiful Bones, right. That's a good one. Monster, Psychopaths, or Fire Force. So you want stuff that takes place outside of high school? I'm okay with it. I can rock with it.
Yeah, I can deal with it, but I agree. Like, I would like some stuff that takes place outside of high school, like
more mature wise.
Yeah.
Beautiful Bones is a good one.
Hellsing.
Yeah, Hellsing was great.
But that was gory. And then this is the last one on the list.
Yeah.
Our bro Jacob Mills. I look for the same stuff in anime that I look for in other media, which I feel like is also kind of like a must, but you will find different things in both, right? In anime, like DBZ and other shonen, I don't expect much in line with story and character development, though I am pleasantly surprised when it's there and it elevates the anime. More adult stuff like Cowboy Bebop and Fullmetal Alchemist I hold to higher standards, and I want to get invested in characters. A good amount of humor is also great in these anime, as it balances out the heavy subject matter. The era of the anime is also important, as newer stories should build off of what came before. Fights are always nice, but without a good story to drive them, I get bored and lose interest.
True. I'm with that. Good stuff, Jacob. That's a real good one. Back to some of these. Some of these I wholeheartedly agree with. Like, I think between Ty Jones and I think
Philip.
Yeah, Phillips. Those are the ones I agree with the most. Like, it could definitely change depending on your mood. For instance, sometimes I'm in the mood for harem. I want a good harem or some good ecchi. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm just in the mood. You know, that's just me.
My brother, man.
Ain't no shame in my game.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because sometimes, like, and I know, like I said, you're not into this, but sometimes I want to watch a good sports anime. I loved playing sports, but I don't really play sports anymore as much as I used to. So I like to watch some over-exaggerated anime about sports that used to make me feel like how I used to feel dunking on Keith. Yeah, I did dunk on Keith one time. That's all I gotta say.
Or Keith dunking on you.
He's 6'5" now, so I can't dunk on him no more.
Yeah, hell no. I can't believe the man that was like 6'1" back in elementary school got taller.
He grew after high school. That's funny.
It's nuts. But those are fantastic. Thank y'all so much for writing in. It truly is. It's good to see what you guys are like into, because now it explains some of the other conversations that we can have inside of anime, and hopefully you got a better understanding of who we are. Again, I like slice of life. Slice of life has become my number one genre. But you know what? One thing that when we were talking, when you mentioned who mentioned the one where a guy got to pick between two girls and you don't choose either? Who said that?
Was that Ty? No, that wasn't Ty.
No, that wasn't Ty. It was the one.
It was Christian Nichols?
Yeah, I think so. Now, I feel that wholeheartedly. You want to know what reminded me of that? What popped in my head when he said that, though?
What was that?
ReZero. When he had that choice and he made it. Yeah. And that shit pissed me off so bad. I kind of wish he didn't choose any of them because I didn't.
Because he didn't make the choice you wanted him to make.
Exactly.
Sorry.
I was so sorry.
Oh, that was Brandon Gray who said that. Sorry.
Brandon Gray. Well, we need to do a rewatch of ReZero for real though, and give our official review of it since season 2 is coming out. I
actually have an idea about something like that. Talk about it after the podcast, and we'll share it later.
Let's do it. But yeah, man, I love those. Those are fantastic.
Awesome.
All right, let's talk about some more anime that we watch. We're only gonna do one each.
Yeah, you can start, bro. Since I started this one.
Yeah. So, oh shit, you gonna make me start? It has to be SAO. It has to be SAO over Fire Force. Fire Force episode was fantastic. Part 2 of Sho versus Shinra was wonderful. They explained Sho's power and what he was actually doing, which was crazy to me. And then Shinra literally took it to another level during a fight, but he was busting, like he was like getting his ass whooped and learning on the fly the right way. Black Clover, take notes. He was learning on the fly the right way, but that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about SAO. And the reason why I want to talk about SAO was the progression, dude. There was no fighting in this episode, but the progression in this episode was so strong and so well done that it touched me. Did you see this episode?
I did.
Okay, good.
So
what you think?
I'm actually surprised you brought this up.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is
I'm
that?
very surprised. Because like, I don't know. I didn't think you rocked with this one like I was rocking with it. And I'm
No,
honestly,
bro. This
I'm
one
very
was
happily,
perfect.
I'm happily surprised.
This one was perfect. This episode was absolutely perfect to continue the story, bro.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal. Like it, again, we talked about what we liked. This goes back to what I didn't like in the first few episodes or the most recent episodes, other than this more recent one of My Hero. They don't try to give you everything all in one episode. They just give you the episodes that you need to see.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So like pushing the story forward, our classic members from SAO1 to ALO is going to do a data conversion, or they found out that they need to do a data conversion to the underworld in order to support Kirito and Asuna because they're in this new world that is about to let the Americans in, dude, as fucking
10,000 of them boys.
10,000 American soldiers into this world to be a part of the Dark Army in order to help kill the humans. Like, that shit was wild, bro. The way it just progressed and progressed and progressed, I'm like, man, this shit is incredible. Go ahead.
The way they warped in at the end.
Yeah.
That shit was so smooth. It was like it's not like they warped in and you just see like this ultra ominous figure, because they didn't make them seem super ominous or super big and bad. It was just, you see these giant red lights. They coming down, and then you just start to see these suits of armor. They don't all look special. They just look like different little suits. They're just all different suits of armor. And you just see these dudes standing there. I'm just like, yo, it's about to get lit next.
It's like the Avengers, bro. It's nuts.
So
man.
good.
It's nuts. I absolutely loved it, man. Truly, this show keeps getting better. People gonna be thinking we be tripping when we gonna do our review of this, and they get like an 8 something.
Right, like an 8.5.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, why is that rated so high?
Why is that rated better than Dr. Stone?
I thought Dr. Stone was anime of the year.
Well,
see the way my anime taste is set up.
Exactly. It was phenomenal though, man. Like, I just love the way they I care so much about those characters, dude. Like when it went back to them, when Yui, is that her name? Yuri. When she went back to and told them the situation, I'm like, oh, look at our characters. I feel like I've been a part of this, like this journey, this ride. And I like that the most, man.
I think you really just like the fact that Kirito woke up with 4 chicks around him.
Oh, well, that was cool too.
I'm just messing.
But all I care about is Asuna.
She is the main one.
Yeah.
She's the A1 day one.
A1 day one for sure. The waifu for lifeu.
Right.
For sure.
They gonna be salty when he wake up and he be like, oh, hey, babe.
You got your wedding ring on?
Right.
They gonna be so salty.
Because we in here.
Dude, when he saw her though, that episode where he saw her and he was, I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, I thought he was about to break. I was like, this is going to be it. And you know, they couldn't give that to us because that would have been too easy. That would have been like too obvious.
This war will be over.
Yeah. Kirito wakes up. Now he go hard on everybody.
Yeah, it's over. I love it, man. This show is fantastic. And we haven't had one word from Kirito. That's all.
That's it.
That's it. That's all we got this entire season. We're 11 episodes in. All right. Now, what you want to talk about? I wanted to give you a little bit more time.
You already know. As I said, I am 12 episodes into Vinland Saga. And yo, what the hell, bro? What? So look, I just need Mic Check Waifu listeners to know. I watched the first episode of Vinland Saga like 10 episodes ago and said something about, oh, this actually looks pretty good. And Mic Check Waifu and never finished it. And now I am so disappointed in myself because this is actually by far one of the most heated, like fire anime of the year. Oh my God. How did I let this one slide, bro?
For the anime listeners, I don't want to, let me see if I can show y'all without giving away some of the secrets we got going on. Oh, look at this. This is to tell himself. I don't know if y'all can see that. It's gonna be hard to see. In all caps, it says, "Watch Vinland Saga." I had to keep reminding him to watch Vinland Saga almost every episode of the podcast because you told me you watched episode 1. He's like, "Yeah, it seems like it's okay." Okay. I watched episode 1 and I'm like, how the fuck did he watch episode 2? I watched episode 2. I'm like, holy shit, this is one of the best anime ever. The one small little itty bitty issue I have is some of the art in the show is so the 3D gets real bad sometimes. It starts to look like Ajin. It starts to, you remember that show Ajin on Netflix? Like it gets, like they do that real slow 3D like this when they start walking like this, and it don't fit the rest of the wonderful Nordic art that they have going on. Like it just looks bad. But other than that, it's phenomenal.
Sadly enough, my one complaint has nothing to do with that, and I might complain about that later. But I haven't seen anything in terms of animation that has made me upset yet.
It comes later.
What has pissed me off, and it has really pissed me off because I'm watching it and I'm enjoying it so much, and I see this, I'm just like, that's not right. So when episode
something's scraping against your mic.
Oh, sorry. Episode 3, right? Episode 3, we in there. And the whole Thor's and Thorfinn thing happens, right?
Spoilers, by the way.
Yeah. And Thorfinn has a sword and he's swinging it. And you hear this clinking and clanking of his sword, but it's in the air.
Yeah, that was.
It's not hitting nothing.
That wasn't quite.
Why is his sword going clink, clink, clink? What are you hitting? Stop that!
Yeah, it was weird,
and that bothered me. And it bothered me way more than it should have. But I swear, it only bothered me because of how much I was enjoying the show.
Yeah, and that's what I feel about that 3D part that comes when it comes in. It's like, why do that? You don't need to do that.
Yeah. Also, Yova might be my new waifu.
Really? Yeah. No, I can see that.
I actually 100%.
Yeah.
Like, I want her to just be some badass warrior. I swear to God. I want her to pick up a sword and start chopping heads off left and right.
Yeah.
Like, I just feel like she's going to be raw. As soon as she picked up those water jugs and she had her one little crying scene, I was like, yo, that's the realest thing. Because she literally was doing whatever she could to stay active and stay busy and not feel the emotions of the things. Like, she knew... Like, it's like she knew it was going to happen.
100%.
And she tried to cover it up. Like, even though she knew it was going to happen, she was hoping that it didn't.
Right.
And it did. And, yo, great. This is just, I'm salty.
I'm trying to remember what up to 12 was, because I don't want to go into anything.
The last thing I saw is they captured Canute.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So they captured Canute.
Mm-hmm. The prince.
Who captured Canute?
Thorfinn and
yep.
Askeladd.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Damn, man, you right to where it gets even better too.
Yeah.
It gets even better. And we
done seen Thorkel.
Yeah.
Now, Thorkel, I don't know what's wrong with that man.
Did y'all fight Thorkel yet?
Yeah, but he done fought Thorkel once and he cut off a couple of Thorkel fingers, and I was like, hold up. Like, he ain't even budged.
It's so good. Thorkel is, because Thorkel was with, he's with Thors.
Yeah, Thors is his only competitor.
Yeah. That's the only one that can beat him. Man, dude. Yeah, it's a wonderful show.
Oh, man, look.
I can't wait till you watch
Polo, I need you to catch up on Vinland Saga because you are too far behind.
So much. I just watched episode 23 and it was so
Me too,
good.
Bro. Let's talk about it.
No, you don't want me to do that.
I don't want you to do that. No, I'm just saying.
Oh, man. Oh, dude.
He said, I hate you so much. Oh, that's funny.
Boy. That's why now do you believe me when I said this show is way better than Demon Slayer?
I don't know about all that.
Hey, you get further.
I mean, no, I'll tell you, at this point where Demon Slayer was, it's significantly better.
Yeah.
Like, by episode 12, Demon Slayer wasn't this good.
No, it wasn't. And it gets even better than that.
Yeah. So if this stays at this consistency, for sure, it's better than Demon Slayer.
Oh, you really like that episode 19 of Demon Slayer? You ain't seen nothing yet.
I mean, no, I'm saying I liked more than just that episode 19, though.
I know.
Because that episode ain't what got me there.
True. But I'm just saying. The characters alone, bro. Oof.
Oh, man. I'm so hyped.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. Oh, shit. We're an hour in. What's next is a quick break, and then we'll go into our normal talk of My Hero. And apparently, Tell got some things to say about My Hero. So stay tuned to that. We'll be right back. Timmy Turner. We've been wishing for a burn. Heal everybody walking. Welcome back to My Check Waifu, episode 28. Hey, we love you. Go to mycheckwaifu.com or go to patreon.com/mycheckwaifu if you want to support the podcast. Again, there's a free episode of My Check Encore, episode 13, titled Illegal Overdose. Go check that episode out. That episode was a lot of fun to record. Literally just some boys hanging out, chilling, talking about whatever. And we also cover the video game awards too. So check that out. But this part is the part where we talk about our ongoing anime, our running anime right now, and that's My Hero. Montel on Twitter says something about what'd you say? We need to have a conversation about My Hero's latest episode.
I said we need to have a serious conversation.
Serious conversation. I wonder what's so serious. Let's start off with what your thoughts were
on this episode.
Yes, sir.
This is my least favorite episode so far.
Shocking.
Literally my least favorite episode.
Why? Because there was no fighting?
No, of the entire series.
Why?
It was just like this episode. So my favorite part about the episode was the fact that Toga was included.
I hate her.
I understand. I get it. I love Toga though. I love Blitz or no Double. I love him too. I love the villains. But this episode itself was like it just dragged on.
That's been the entire fucking season, bro. The entire season has been doing nothing but dragged on. But at least this one was all in one consistent episode.
Yeah.
For how it was laid out. Like it wasn't in the middle of a darn like huge, big, important fight. It was consistently dragging on. But they did it better. They did it better.
But like, nah, I wasn't rocking with this one.
Dude, that's been me this entire season, bro.
But like, I felt like the way they were building up before was significantly better. This is my least favorite episode. I didn't like this. To me, this is like as big of an upset as like Luffy fighting Kaido and Feyeno. Like this shit. This was unacceptable. I get it though. People love this episode. Like, yeah, this episode I think that it was hype, right? I think actually like the organization of the episode, like structurally, I think the episode was really good.
Yeah.
If we're gonna do that, if we're gonna talk about the actual like how the episode is structured, what it's like, all of that to me was almost immaculate. Like this was probably one of their best structured episodes.
Yes, I agree.
Not my favorite episode because to me it
felt like a filler.
It felt like a filler. It felt like unnecessary. They could have skipped this entire episode, or at least cut 75% of this episode out.
Dog, that's been this entire fucking last 5 episodes has been nothing but filler, but done the wrong way. They did filler this time the right way.
But none of it was really filler. Like, cause like this happens in the manga. Nope.
All the show's been doing has been filling us up with the characters' backstory in the middle of their fight to make us care. I didn't care about that. I cared about the fight in the minute that the fight was happening. Like I don't care about learning about this stuff before. I care about learning about this stuff before they get into these big fights, or even after, like they do in Vinland Saga, as you will find out later on.
But see, that's the part I actually like disagree with. I like that part.
During the fighting, you like the fact that they show flashbacks in the middle of the most important parts of a fight.
It don't really bother me that much in the heat of the episode. If I'm going back to rewatch it, I don't want to see the history anymore. But the first time watching it, to me, it feels good because I know like the fights I've been in. Sometimes I think about like, oh shit, I remember thinking about how this one time I had to duck this punch. I don't know, bro. This episode didn't rock with me. I didn't like it. It was okay at the best.
This was way better than the previous ones, only because of structure. Because I done settled on the fact is I already know what they're doing this season. They're gonna drag out this portion of the season as long as they possibly can.
You think that
they have been already. It's essential. Like they've been doing that.
Are we on?
This is like 12, right? Like this is half a season and ain't shit really happened.
It's episode 10. Okay. So next episode is Lemillion.
Almost the entire season has been just drug on. And literally more than half of the season has been them running through this fucking base, which has been just ridiculous.
I mean, that's 3 episodes.
It's been like 4 actually, but that's still, it's a lot of it is just, I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to drag it on, trying to make this money. I feel them. Talk about cash grabs. That's exactly what they're doing. And then I guess this is when it pops off, like when Lemillion gets involved, because obviously he gets involved because he's fighting Overhaul. Next episode.
He's about to pop off. Now, I will tell you, although to me this episode was kind of a letdown, it was really a letdown because I felt like it didn't really progress the actual storyline as much as I wanted. I liked the information, but it didn't progress the story. It seemed very decent. Like, I don't care that you're talking to Rappa in the infirmary and healing up Kirishima. None of that matters to me. You could have passed all of that.
I was okay with it. I was okay with it. I was even okay with how they explained Toga and Double being with the lead. I mean, being with the mafia or the Yakuza. I like that because of where they placed it. It was in a well-placed position. It was short and sweet, but it still got its point across. And then the show continued. When the show continued, boy, Rock Lock gets shanked up, which was, his power is fucking trash, dude.
You think so?
Hell yeah, dude. I can only stop a power of the wall. It's like, dude, you locking shit.
you throw a knife at him and he can lock it in place.
Yeah, but it got to stab me first. Like, it's like he has to touch it in order to lock it.
Yeah.
It's stupid. It's a dumb power. It's a real dumb power. I like the character, especially the dub version. The voice actor is incredible because he's unapologetically black. And of course, I appreciate the hell out of that. But other than that, like, he's a real poo-poo character that complains a lot. Why are these kids here? These kids shouldn't be involved in this. But all I could do is lock down the wall. Like, boy, you better get, boy, if you don't get.
That's not that bad, though. Literally, he could lock things in place in midair. Like,
only things, though. Not people.
Why people is... You can't control people's will is how I think he's doing, though. Like, how overpowered would that be? Like, there's like, so we talk about, what's his name? Hero Killer Stain. He had to taste your blood to do that.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not that he could just touch you and lock you in place.
But you can't even use Hero Killer Stain as an example for that because at least he had to taste your blood to do something physically to you. Rock Lock is literally taking your shoes and locking them to the ground, and then you take off your shoes and you free a kid. Like, it's a dumb power, dude. It's a real stupid power.
I also think they could have utilized it better. Like, he can lock things in place. Why don't he just lock their whole outfit in place?
But you can come out of the outfit.
You gonna come out the whole outfit, my
Yeah, I'm a hero, bro.
Or a villain. I like your whole outfit in place. First of all, how you gonna move out of your outfit if it's locked in place, bro?
That's a good point.
How you gonna get out of that?
That's a kind of a good point.
I just want to know.
He has to touch your shirt and he just locks the whole outfit if it's a one piece. But if it's two pieces, I gotta touch you in two places to lock it.
So if it's a shirt, you gotta.
Yeah, true.
How you getting out of that, bro? That's too much work.
It's a real dumb power for him to be talking all that shit he was talking, though, to be honest.
He was talking a lot of shit. But I think he was important because I think he can also unlock anything, too.
Okay. You know, I can see how that's useful. If he can unlock anything, then that's dope. So if somebody locked themselves behind a door that's supposed to be super secure, tight, that's just nothing for him.
Yeah. And I mean, I think as a hero, that's a really good power because as a thief, it's an amazing power. Exactly. As a hero, it's even better.
Exactly. So that's good. He's great for hostage situations, I guess.
So my question is, what's your expectation for the next episode?
I just want to. I don't want any fucking backstory in the middle of this fucking fight. And I know I'm gonna get it. I know it's gonna be poorly drawn out in order to get it to be continued for us to do a part 2 of this fight in another episode, which I fucking hate. Even though I think Overhaul should just rock Lemillion in almost an instant. But I mean,
I mean, he has to be able to touch Lemillion, though. You know,
that's a good point. You can't touch him. This is kind of like the perfect fight, though. Those two are going at it. That's kind of like the perfect fight.
I'm so hyped for this.
That's kind of because he going Overhaul's probably gonna be super confident. He's gonna hit one of those. Okay. Take off his glove. He takes off his glove. Lemillion's coming in for a punch. He goes to touch Lemillion and he goes right through. And he's like, "Oh, what? What do I do now?" That's just gonna be dope.
I don't think Chizuki acts like that, but if Overhaul acts like that, I'm gonna be salty. I'm gonna be instantly salty because that's not how he acts in the manga.
No, we're actually gonna get a reaction out of him, which is gonna be dope. Getting a reaction out of Overhaul is above all else incredible because he's such a well acted character, and like both the subs and the dubs, it's insane. Like they treat him well. He's chill, but he's also like, I don't know, the little like caveats and things about his character in the background, I just feel like are awesome. Incredible. Like, we know he has a phobia of quirks. So
Like I still love the idea that when he uses his quirk, he breaks out in hives.
Yep.
When you see someone else using their quirks, he breaks out in hives. He hates it. So I'm excited to see where this goes.
I love it.
This
Finally.
next episode.
Finally, we getting somewhere.
I think this next episode is going to be real intense.
Good. We need it, to be honest.
Don't call me when you watch this episode.
I am.
I know you are.
But with that, that's going to wrap episode, what's this?
28.
28. Is our next episode our New Year's Eve episode?
Yeah, because this is our Christmas episode, Christmas Eve episode.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Merry Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas to everybody.
Yeah.
Happy holidays if you don't celebrate Christmas. But happy holidays to you all. Thank you all so much for supporting our first ever endeavor with this podcasting thing. Truly has been special. Like our Patreon is incredible. You guys are awesome for supporting us there. For those of you that bought shirts and stuff, we love you.
Mm-hmm. Love you.
Those of you who have supported our sponsor, LudeComplex.com, we love you. Happy holidays. You guys be safe. Hope you get what you want. Hope you give your kids what they want. And I'm not even going to plug our Twitter or nothing like that because this is more important. Thank y'all so much for listening and watching. And we'll see y'all for our Anime of the Year discussion next episode. So with that, I'm Polo.
And I'm King Teliano.
Peace out.
Peace.
Mic check 1 2 1 2.
My sweet waifu.
Is that you?
One way or another.